Hello, welcome to Web App Wednesday. I am Tiberius, and today we have sponsor, yay. Yes, my company, White Oak Security, have kindly sponsored this stream, and hopefully many more to come. So yeah, I've put a little icon in the top left. I guess I should probably do a plug. So, White Oak Security are a penetration testing company, chiefly. We do just a bunch of stuff. We have a bunch of great guys, awesome pen testers, including myself. And yeah, we do everything from like red teaming to externals to cloud stuff. Obviously, web apps is my thing. But yeah, we're also hiring. Now, White Oak's a bit special in that we tend to hire more senior folks. But we are kind of open to hiring less seniors. It really depends. So anyway, if you do it doesn't suggest you're hiring? Okay, we are definitely hiring. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask my boss where the where the hiring information is. Please don't hack the site looking for it. Yeah, so we are definitely hiring. If anyone is interested, reach out to me on Discord, and I will get you in touch with the CEO. And yeah, great company, great people to work for, very friendly. All remote, by the way. We don't even have an office. So yeah. But yeah. They are sponsoring, which is very kind of them. Mention the what levels. I should probably actually catch up on chat. Zero Kieran. 5 tier 1 subs to Luis Wish 80, MSEC, Merlin Predator, Clam Security, and Shoreditch. Thank you so much, my friend. Well, I guess we're starting the stream off with some spins for Zero Kieran. Alrighty. I'm scrolling down chat. Job levels, like I said, like kind of senior, but we are we're a little bit flexible. So yeah, if you're really experiencing bug bounty, that definitely does help. I know for a fact one of my friends applied for a job. It's his first job in cybersecurity, but he's been in the top 50 or maybe top 10 of bug crowd, and he's been doing bug bounties for like 2 years. And we did offer him a position. He declined it because there was another offer from somebody else, but we don't hold that against him much. But yeah, so if your experience is just bug bounties, as long as you're really good at bug bounties, you got a chance. I'm not saying it's definite. This guy was particularly special, very skilled. So yeah, today we are doing SQL injection. So I believe Meterpreter Session requested it. But yeah, we're doing blind SQL injection, also known as inferential. And to be honest, I think I heard the term inferential not relatively recently, but recently-ish. And I kind of prefer it over blind because Boolean blind isn't really that blind. You're still seeing something. I get where the blind bit comes from, but inferential is a much better word. So yeah, we're going to do some inferential SQL injection today. I'm going to teach you some techniques to do it manually. and then show you why nobody ever does it manually. Like, it's pointless. Like, you spend half an hour getting the exact same stuff that SQL map can get in, like, a minute, if that. Yeah. But first, okay, let's do some spins. Because we got 5 spins from Zero Kieran. I don't know why I have 2 wheels open. There we go. Okay, let me turn down the volume on that. Alright. Maybe we'll do 3 spins now and 2 later. Okay, well, that was a good spin for me. The wheel has spoken. If you are watching but you're not following, please give me a follow. There should be a button in the lower right. So yeah, I mean, you have to do it. I expect to see a bunch of people following. Top left should alert me. Over there, sorry. Alright, next spin. Oh, goodness me. Great. Hacking upside down for 5 minutes. Now, we realized last time, I can flip my screen using the display settings in Windows, but in Streamlabs, it doesn't flip the screen. So I proved it last time. I took a photo of my screen on my camera and I flipped it round so everyone could see it was upside down. But yeah, I guess it's better for you guys because you don't actually see the upside down screen, so you can actually see what I'm doing, or struggling to do is more accurate. Alright, we'll do one more spin. Remove a category. Alright, Zero Kieran. We have a bunch of categories. Which one do you want to remove? I can pick? Okay. Oh, I'm definitely getting rid of toolban. There we go. Someone can add it back when they want to, but for now it's gone. Alright. Nice. Angel, you just gotta, you know, subscribe and then land on the add a category and it goes right back on there. You know, I just have to click one button. No, remove the add a category and remove a category cannot be removed. We've made this a law. Alright, let's get Stream Raiders going. For those of you new to the stream, Stream Raiders is a fun little game we play, where if you follow the link that just appeared in chat and you can sign in with your Twitch account, every 5 minutes, if you keep it in like a browser tab, you'll hear a little alert. It'll remind you, hey, put one of your units down, and then in half an hour, I should also get an alert which tells us the battle is ready. Fingers crossed. Okay. What were we gonna do first? Oh yeah, I need to change my screen upside down. Okay. Flipped. Oh, gotta go. No, I gotta go over here. Keep changes. Okay, so you can't see this, but my screen is flipped. Do I have to prove it again? Hang on. Nope. Where can I oh my goodness. Alright, here we go. So I'm gonna take a I'm gonna hold my phone up here, take a picture, and then I'm gonna flip it round. Okay, there you see. Can you see that? Does that look upside down to you? I don't know, it's all white. Anyway, it's upside down. Maybe I can get a better picture. Because this was all very white page. Maybe the wheel's a better one to show. Alright, hang on. I'm gonna take a picture. Okay. See ya? That's upside down, right? Okay. Good. Not doing that. Alright, I need to put a timer on for 5 minutes. And also respond to a text message, I think. Alright. 5 minutes going on. Okay. Okay. So. Where the hell am I? This is going to be a nightmare to do upside down. Why did we even do this? Well, I guess I could first explain. I have a little it's not really a wiki. It's a pen testing quote unquote guide that I've been working on for years now. It's not public. There is a public version, but this has all my secrets in it. So, but this is not that updated, but it has a bunch of useful information to know. Because the thing you need to know when you're doing SQL injection, and especially blind SQL injection, is the different functions that each database type has. Now, there are more than 5 databases. Okay? But to be honest, 99.9% of databases are either MySQL, Postgres, MS SQL, Oracle, or SQLite. And so these are the ones that we deal with. And you see, there's various kinds of string concatenation. So MySQL supports at least 3 types that I know of. I was surprised it did support this one with the plus, but it does apparently. But the one that's unique to MySQL, this is where it's important for identifying databases, is basically a string followed by a space followed by a string will concatenate the strings. I don't know why it will, but it will. A plus will, the concat function, obviously. Postgres has this lovely one where you just do 2 bars between strings. MS SQL has the plus as well as concat. Oracle has the 2 bars plus concat, and SQLite has the 2 bars. So to be honest, out of all of these, the only one you can really identify off the bat is MySQL, because every other one shares some other way of doing it. So concatenation is not a very good way of identifying it. Substring is okay. You can identify the first 3 because they all use substring, whereas Oracle and SQLite use substra. The length function is interesting. There are some actual nice ones here. For instance, MySQL has length, which will count the bytes, and char length, which will count the characters, which is different because sometimes you'll have multi-byte characters. Postgres has length, MS SQL has len and data length, which again counts the bytes. Oracle has length and length B, which, you guessed it, counts bytes, and SQLite has length. And then we have a few comments, and then basically we get into the way you select actual information in databases. So this is a guide we're going to reference a lot. We're also going to reference this. Portswigger's own SQL injection cheat sheet. I'm not so much of a fan of this because I feel like they purposefully leave out stuff to make their challenges a bit harder. Like if you notice their string concatenation, right, compared to mine, mine is a lot better. Because, you know, I don't know why they didn't think that, oh, what was it? They don't think that Oracle has a concat function. It clearly does. and so does MS SQL. Yeah, so they do leave a bunch of stuff out. They also don't support SQLite for some reason. I don't really understand why. But they do have a lot of good stuff in here, so we will also be relying on this. I'm trying to just talk a lot so I get to the end of this 5 minutes. Because we're not going to be doing SQL injection upside down. Okay. So there's a bunch of SQL challenges on Portswigger, but we don't care about all these. Unions, easy. What's this one? Querying the database. Yeah, we don't even need that one. Where's the blind SQL? Here it is. There's the first one. So blind SQL injection with conditional responses. All right, so really the basic kind of blind here. Oh, thank goodness. All right, hang on. I'm flipping my screen back up. Okay, that's good. We're good now.
New subscription received. Dispensing gratitude.
Rod
Gratitude
admin.
dispensed.
Sorry, Rod admin. Thank you for the Prime sub and your 3-month subscription. We will add you for a spin. We'll do the spins later though. We have 2 more for Zero Kieran as well. Okay. Alright, so this lab contains a blind SQL injection vulnerability. The application uses a tracking cookie for analytics and performs an SQL query containing the value of the submitted cookie. Results of the SQL query are not returned. We'll do marbles in a bit, Jessica. Let's do this first. So, for those of you who don't know, I should probably explain blind SQL injection or inferential SQL injection compared to classic SQL injection. You're probably familiar with classic. Union-based is classic. Error-based is classic. So, with union and error-based, you can grab the data out of the database and display it in the response, right? So if you think about a standard union SQL injection, you are unioning the query that's in the application with another query where you select information out of the database, and that information goes back into the page where the information from the previous query is supposed to go, effectively. So that's how you extract information. Error-based is slightly different. So with error-based, you actually intentionally want to generate an error, but you want to do it in such a way that information forms part of the error. Out of the two, union-based is better, quote unquote, because you can, generally speaking, grab more data out. Error messages in SQL tend to be limiting, so you can't grab as much information out of them. So yeah, union is always better to do if you can. But blind SQL injection, inferential SQL injection, there is no data being returned in the response. That does not mean you can't see something in the response. All right, there are visual cues in some blind SQL injection attacks, and this is going to be one of those, right? So you won't see any data and you won't see any errors, but you'll see that there is definitely some change. Yeah, you can use, I mean, to be honest, I use SQL map for all of this. There are some, I think I have some error-based, some in here. Yeah, okay, like here's some. So in MySQL, for instance, there's a bunch of functions that if you put something in the function it's not expecting, like this select version, this will fail. But it'll fail in such a way that it spits out this thing, right? As part of the error message. Same with this one, select, so JSON keys, extract value, update XML. Because obviously update XML is expecting XML. If you don't give it XML, it's just going to complain. So there's a bunch of them. The only one SQLite, apparently there's no way of doing error-based SQL injection. Interestingly. There are apparently no known techniques. That I know of, anyway. Or the SQL map knows of. Because to be honest, all of these come out of SQL map. If you know what you can do, you can crack open SQL map and just extract a bunch of these. So yeah. Alright, let's open this. Alright, so we're going to open it in Burp Suite. So in this case, it does tell us where the SQL injection is. In reality, obviously, you would fuzz parameters and look for things. You could scan it with Burp Suite. You could even just pass it to SQL map itself. But for sake of time, we're going to say, oh, you discovered a potential SQL injection and you want to exploit it further. So let's go to... So I actually want to refresh this page. Because what happened when we loaded the page the first time was it set a cookie, a tracking ID. And so we want to get the request with the tracking ID. We'll send this to repeater. And we'll send the request. And we notice we get a content length of 11,275. Alright, so we'll start off. The first thing you want to do when dealing with any SQL injection is try and cause some kind of change, some kind of error. And obviously the easiest way of doing that, you expect this to be in a select statement enclosed in single quotes. Sometimes it'll be double quotes, but most commonly single quotes. So if you shove a single quote in there, it's going to break the query. And lo and behold, if you notice, 11275 became 11214. Okay, and if we send these to comparer, so I'm going to send the response to the first one to comparer and the second one to comparer. You can do compare words. I much prefer compare bytes because compare words has this horrible wrap thing, which doesn't really work very well. So if you scroll down, you can immediately see, okay, this bit doesn't appear in the second response. So it looks like when there's an SQL error, you don't get the welcome back. All right. You'll notice there's the home, same home over here. Can you see that? Yeah. And this one has a welcome back, then my account. This one just goes straight to my account. All right. So the next thing, what we want to do, we want to repair the query. By which I mean we want to... we could repair the query by doing that. We don't want to do that. We want to keep our injection there, but we want to try and repair the query. We do this for a few reasons. One is to effectively make sure we can repair the query, because that means we can actually inject something into it. And the second reason is that by repairing the query, we can actually discover what database type it is. Now, there's a few ways to repair this query. If you think about the query like it would be select all from tracking where cookie equals, let's do this, right? So that's a valid query. And what we've done here is we've put an extra single quote in there. All right. And that breaks the query because it's not expecting it. So there's a few things we can do. Obviously, we're not actually... This isn't our single quote. This is our single quote. So we're right here now. So the easiest thing we can do is we can do something like and 1 equals 1 dash 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 like that. And effectively that will comment out. But we'll know it works if the welcome back message reappears, because now this query is repaired, right? The and 1 equals 1 is pretty meaningless because 1 always equals 1, right? And so all that matters is this part. All that matters is the original statement. So let's do that and see if we can actually repair this query. We're going to search for welcome back. I think it was just welcome back, right? Actually, we can probably go back and see. Yes, welcome back with an exclamation point. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll put a space in. Now, because this isn't a cookie, you don't have to URL encode this stuff. At least you shouldn't have to. So we can do 1 equals 1 dash dash dash. And lo and behold, we do get a welcome back. So it looks like we've repaired this. There's a way we can confirm it, and that's just changing this 1 to a 2. Because now, this query is technically repaired. It's a valid query, but it's going to return false, right? Because we've put this and. So this, in the first query we did, this matched, right, in the database, and 1 always equals 1. So that was fine. That returned a row. Now this is going to return no rows. All right? And lo and behold, we don't get a welcome back. Okay? So we can pretty much... This is like the epitome of Boolean-based injection. We just give it a very simple statement, and if it's true, it returns a row. And if it's not, it doesn't return a row. Right? Anyone not following? You don't want to use or 1 equals 1. Because or 1 equals 1 could break everything. If you think about how the application works, the application, when it does this, it's expecting 1 row. Right? Because a tracking cookie should be unique to the user. So it's expecting 1 row to be returned, right? It's not expecting more than 1 row. So if the application is really weirdly coded, it might go, oh, you know, if any rows are returned, then say welcome back. But more likely, it's going to be if the number of rows returned is equal to 1. There'll be some kind of code in there. And it'll just be an if-else. If there's 1 row, we know who the user is, we can say welcome back. Otherwise, don't say anything. SQL map does all this automatically, yeah. So you don't, when you're doing Boolean based, you never use or. You always use and. Or just leads to just chaos, so don't use or. Okay, now we need to figure out what actual database this is. So I wrote this up earlier because remember how I went over in this the differences between concatenation and substring and everything like that, but it turns out, you know, you can't figure out the database just using concatenation. You can't doing it using substring. You can't even do it using length. However, if you follow this very simple algorithm, you can figure out the database. So you have to do these in order. If you do these in order, you're going to get screwed. If you don't do these in order, you're going to get screwed. So the first thing we're going to do is test for MySQL. MySQL has a very unique property where if you say the string foo plus a space plus the string bar equals foobar, that returns true. Okay? This will not return true in any of these databases. Okay? So we'll do that here. And remember, our true, when we want something to be, when something is true in this database, we see welcome back. Okay? So let's try that. And we get no welcome back. 0 matches. So it's not MySQL. So now we move to the next one, right? This one is similar. This one uses a plus. Now remember, MySQL can use a plus, right? So if we'd had this one first, and it returned true, we wouldn't know if it was MSSQL or MySQL. Yeah, I'll paste it in somewhere. So this is why the order matters. So if this returns true, even though this could happen under MySQL, we know it's not MySQL because this one wasn't true. All right, so we'll post this one in. And again, the thing to watch out with for this one is if you are using it in a URL or in post parameters potentially, you have to encode the plus. We're in a cookie, so we should be fine. Okay, we get 0 matches. So now we move on to Postgres. And now we can't, if you remember, so Postgres, Oracle, and SQLite all support this, right, with the double bars. So now we have to use substring because look, Postgres supports substring, but Oracle and SQLite use Substring. Okay, and MySQL and MS SQL use substring as well, but we've already excluded them. So if substring returns a true, we know it has to be Postgres. So if we copy this, and substring works by you give it a string, so we're giving it foo, and we say we're going to start at the first character and we only want one character. All right, so if we start the first character and we only want one character, it's going to be an F. So substring foo11 equals F. So we'll put that in there. Looky there. We get a welcome back. So this means this has to be Postgres. Right? Does that make sense? Now, in reality, that's not true. Because there are far more databases than those 5. But for the sake of argument, most of them are those 5, and you don't do this. Remember, you don't ever do this. You just feed it to SQL map. And SQL map knows way more databases. Those 5 are the main ones, yeah. Why foobar? Foobar is just a thing in programming. There we go. The terms foobar, and baz, and others are used as metasyntactic variables and placeholder names in computer programming. It's a programming thing. Yeah, I don't know where it came from. It's possible it's foobar. I don't think it is, though. It looks like it's... I don't know. No idea. Either way, if you want to use variables in programming in in really simple pseudocode, you use foobar and baz, and there's I think some other ones. Okay, so we have figured out that it is Postgres. Okay. So now we can. What do we need to do in terms of this? Database contains a different table called users with columns called username and password. You need to exploit the bind SQL injection vulnerability to find out the password of the administrator user. Okay. So we're going to take this. So we know in this case we can skip ahead because we know we've been given the information about the table. We've got the users table which has a column, username, and password. So ordinarily you wouldn't know that, and SQL map would figure that out. But for sake of time, we're not going to do that because it would just take too long.
Dispensing gratitude.
Scopolamin 7, thank you so much for the prime set. Put you on the list. Scopolamin. Okay. So we can obviously use this cheat sheet to get information out. Actually, we don't even need to use this cheat sheet. So we can do. So with Boolean-based SQL injection, remember, we cannot just say, oh, select the password from users, union it with something, right? Because this is blind. There's nothing going to come back here. So the reason it's called Boolean is because what you do is you ask a series of yes or no questions. And when you get a yes, you get information. So What do you think? If we can only ask yes or no questions, what do you think the first question should be? Yeah, it's trial and error. We're going to automate this using Intruder. Well, we don't need to know for admin. We just want the password for the administrator user that's in the users table. Agent OP, you're a bit ahead of us. Do you think there's something possibly we should know before that? You've skipped ahead. You're on the second step, but there's one step before that. Password length. There you go. What's the point of enumerating? Like, what's the first character of the password? What's the second? Because if you think about it, if we say, if you've got like the full range of alphanumeric characters, right? Realistically, this password would obviously probably be hashed, so you don't need to use 16 characters, depending on the hash, obviously. But let's say it's stored alphanumerically. Let's say you've got 10 characters already, and you say, okay, is the 11th character an A? Is it a B? Is it a C? And you go all the way through, and it returns nothing, right? Now, that would effectively mean, oh, it's either two things. Either it doesn't have an 11th character, or the 11th character isn't in the set of things you've asked for. Alright, so it's always useful to know when to stop. There are questions you can ask to double check that, but it's much easier to figure out the length of the password first. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to do a select. We want the length. So if we look back at my cheat sheet, in Postgres, it's just length. So we do length password from users where username equals administrator. Okay. So this, everything between these parentheses is going to return the length, right? So this is a subquery. And yeah, exactly. You need these parentheses in order to do this, right? Equals 1 or something, right? And obviously you wouldn't want to do equals 1. It's probably easier to do greater than 10, right? So all we're saying is, right, if the length of the password from the users table where username equals administrator is greater than 10, right? This is, and we get a welcome back, we know that statement is true. Just to go, yeah, we should, but again, we're skipping ahead because we were told that. Yeah? Like, if we want to, yeah, we could find the table, find the columns, but that's going to take forever. This is why blind injection sucks, because it takes forever. All right? And we're trying to do this manually. All right? When we do this using SQL map, we'll do it. I'll tell you what. Yeah, when we do it SQL map, remind me, and we'll do the whole thing. We'll enumerate the users table. We'll enumerate the username. And I'll show you how slow it is, even with SQL map. All right, let's do Stream Raiders though first. Stream Raiders is glitching out. There we go. Okay, we got to solve a Rubik's Cube as well. Okay, let's figure out the length of the password first, and then we'll do the Rubik's Cube. Well done, Christy. Okay, oh, it's a freaking boss fight. All right, everybody needs to actually play now. I'm gonna send my archer on. My archer's super powerful. All right. All right. So let's send this query. So again, This query will return true if the length of the password for the administrator user is greater than 10. If it returns true, we get a welcome back. We get a welcome back. All right, let's say, is it greater than 20? It's not. Okay, so we know it's somewhere between 11 and 20. So now basically we do what's called a binary search. So we know it has to be between 11 and 20, right? It could be 20 because 20 is not greater than 20. So now we split it in half. We say, okay, is it greater than 15? It is. Okay, greater than 17? It is. Is it greater than 19? It is. So it's 20, right? So we just do a double check, equals 20, and we get one match. So we know now the length of the password is 20. Okay? Are there any questions about any of that while I solve a Rubik's Cube? Alright, look away. Gamble this damn thing. Scrambled. That looks scrambled to me. Okay. Where are we? Can you see that all right? Okay. Oh, great. Nothing is in place. Lovely. Everything has to be put in place. Nothing was... I hate when the solves are like that. And again, not an easy solve there. Let's do this algorithm twice. Okay. Oh, great. Yep. Nothing in place again. I have to do the final algorithm twice, and we're set. Okay. Yeah, it was definitely super scrambled. Okay. Alright, I will mark that as completed. Alright. Okay, so now we know the length of the password is 20. We'll actually write that down so I remember. All right, 20. Alright, so now we look back at my cheat sheet. Substring. Okay, substring, the string, start, length. So we want to do select substring. We want the first character and we want to go 1, right? Every time we find a character, we're just going to increase this. Okay. Now, you might think we have to go A, then B, then C, then D. No. Luckily, you can do stuff like that. Greater than A exists. So it will return true if the first character of the password is greater than A. Okay? And this is actually how MySQL SQL map does it. So if we do that, we should get a true, yeah. And so again, we can do like, oh, is it greater than Z? No, so we know it's between A and Z. Is it greater than M? It's not. Is it greater than H? It is. Oh, let's try I. Okay. So it must be H then, right? No, it must be I. And it is. Okay. So the first one is I. Now, obviously, we could do that for all of those. but I don't want to, so we're gonna just brute force the thing. And again, you wouldn't do this because SQL map would do this. SQL map can automate all of that. So SQL map will say, okay, is it greater than this? Is it greater than that? Blah blah, and it'll just narrow it down within like 6 or 7 queries. So instead, what we're going to do, we're going to change this to a 2, and we're going to put a little marker there to fuzz this. So we're going to fuzz this parameter now. We're going to keep it as equals. We'll go to payloads, and we'll just add A to Z. I'm not sure if there's a 0 to 9, but we'll know. And we also want to match. So we can clear this. We want to match on welcome back. Okay. That should be fine. Yeah. Okay. There we go. So the second character is a Y. And all we're going to do is... can we play this? Yeah, we can think... Okay, I have to close it. So we just have to change this 2 to a 3. Get a Z. Close it. I'm going to remember the choice. 4. Okay, so now we don't get any of these. Actually, yeah, we can technically fuzz the number, so maybe that might be worth doing. So we clearly need to add numbers to this, I think. Oops. Yeah. So I'm not sure if we need capital letters. But we get a 9. So yeah, actually let's change this to make it a little better. So what we'll do is we're gonna fuzz this. Next, we need to clear this out. And all we want to do is the numbers. We want numbers 5 to 20. Step, we don't want any fractions. Yeah, that's fine. And then, oh, sorry, I need to do cluster bomb. Cluster bomb will iterate through the payloads independently. So the second payload should now be A to Z and 0 to 9. And we also want to not make the unmodified baseline request. This should work, and then I think if we just... Yeah, so if we sort by this, basically the number here, if we actually do a welcome back search, then we can just sort by payload 1. And it looks like there were no capital letters, thankfully. Alright, so what did we get here? We got B, N, B, 6, W, E3, HS, W7, W, CCT 0, I think. So this should be the answer that we submit. Oh, I have to log on. Right. Sometimes there's a submit, but I guess we just have to log on as the administrator. Log in. There we go. And we solved the lab. Any questions about that? All right. I'm timing out, Homebrewer. I was singing your praises earlier, Homebrewer. Yeah, well. Now you're timed out for 300 seconds. Alright. I was telling everyone about how White Oak's hiring, and you didn't have to be a senior, just really good at bug bounties. And I was saying I knew this guy who was really good at bug bounties, and he applied, and he got a job offer, and he turned it down because he's an asshole. Nah. I was telling everyone how good you were, and you have to come in and say that light mode is better than dark mode. All right. It's alright. We still love him, even though he works for another company now. I'm sure he's happier over there. Alright, let's do marbles. Come on. Oh, there we go. Right. There we go. Race. Actually, this means that Homebrewer can't play marbles. Maybe we shouldn't do marbles just yet. Yeah, we'll do marbles when he comes back. Maybe I should just untime him out. Can I untime him out? I can untime him out. Yeah, I feel bad now. Alright, there we go. Alright, now he can play marbles. Sure, I have the storm. Alright, for those of you who don't know, marbles. Ooh, it's a thunderstorm. Is that yeah, good. I have to turn down the volume because marbles is ridiculous. So, if you want to play marbles, you type !play in chat. You don't have to do anything other than that. You can, if you want, spam boost, but it doesn't do anything in this version. This is just a physics-based game. So, yeah, let me actually join in as well. Again, this is something we play occasionally to break the monotony of the stream, just like Stream Raiders, and marbles is hilariously fun. Okay, you got 60 seconds to join. !play if you want to play. If you get fourth, the 8th time this game is broken. That's good. Alright, 21 people. $30 seconds left to join. I guess fourth gets timed out. Yeah, maybe. 12 seconds, 11, 10. All right, here we go. Alright, who's going to be the first down the plug hole? Where's it? Oh, there's two paths, look. Ooh, okay, well, I'm going to wait here and see. Who is it going to be? Everyone's spinning around. It's redacted. No, it's Cave Dweller, 64. But it looks like Rod Admin is first on the other side. Don't know which one is quicker here, but we'll see. Oh, Christy is now maybe in first. But Cave Dweller... Oh, no, Coding Sphere. Coding Sphere, Coding Spectre. Makes it onto the ramp. No thing. Homebrewer coming through. And... into the weird other toilet bowl, I guess. Who is going to be first down this? Looks like Homebrewer, but Kettle Bear, Grey Matter, no thing. Ghost of Spooky following up all the way across into this weird storm thing. Coding Spectre's fallen off, sorry. Who's in first now? I think Kettle Bear just dropped off. Where is everybody? I don't know where the end is. Oh, it's over there, look. Alright, Ghost of Spooky. Red Hot. This is a confusing one. I lost track of every single marble. Alright, there's a spinny thing you can barely
New
see.
subscription received.
Ghost,
Dispensing
Spooky, Agent
Gratitude
OP.
dispensed.
They're just hanging out right here. Agent OP is very slowly going along. Agent OP wins it. Ghost and Spooky in second. Simo drops off. Grey Hot. Homebrew in fourth. Just a Guy. Grey Matter. Cave Dweller. Carlar Gaming. Cyber Samurai. Okay, who's at the end? Well, you didn't come 8th. You didn't come 4th. You might even not come last. No, you're going to come last. Alright. There we go. Well, I didn't make it either, look. Alright, well done, Agent OP. Alright, and we had a gift sub to Coding Spectre from Zero Kieran. Thank you so much. Get another spin there. Did I miss anything in chat? My channel doesn't have rerun streams, but you can just view the VODs. Just go to the channel/videos, or I upload them to YouTube eventually. Okay. So, we did the first one. Okay. Blind SQL injection with conditional errors. Oops. So this one. Go here. And close the intruder attack. So I think we have to do the same thing with this one. Grab the administrator user. Okay, good. So again, we'll refresh twice to get the cookie. And we send it. And now if we do a extra little single quote, we get a 500 internal server error. Alright? So when this encounters an error, it will, like, when the SQL injection has an error message, it will return a 500 internal server error. Okay? So this is the difference in this one. But again, the first thing we do is we're going to try and fix it. And we'll try the exact same thing as last time. So 1 equals 1 dash dash dash. And that does indeed fix it. And if we do m1 equals 2, you see how... Well, this is the different one. Previously, when we had 1 equals 1, there was a change in the content length, right? It's 11183. If we do 1 equals 2, it's still 11183. Okay, so for this one, we actually have to cause an error. I think I've got some... No, hang on, there's... The cheat sheet has error messages, conditional errors, right. So there's a few ways to do this. This one is interesting. So effectively, you use these select... All of these are basically select cases, kind of. But if you do select case, have a condition. If the condition is true, you say, okay, convert this number to characters. To a character. And you give it 1 divided by 0, which 1 divided by 0 will cause some weird exception, right? Oh, actually, I was going to suggest something. I forgot at the start. SQLfiddle.com is a really awesome resource for just testing various queries, because you can just select the kind of database that you want. And like, for instance, you can even go view sample fiddle, which will create a just database for you, and then you can execute queries over here, right? So like, for instance, we're doing this one. Oops, should be a select. So if we do, oops, see how this one works. Right? So this one's going to generate a error that says subquery returns more than one row. This is this subquery here. Okay. We want to test the Oracle one. You got to click view sample fiddle after, because it doesn't change the thing. Where was Oracle? This one. So select case when I'm gonna exit the freaking thunderstorm map. Divisor is equal to 0, right? But you can experiment with this stuff. So like, if let's go to Postgres, for instance. So if we run this query that's already given us, we see we return one row. So we can like test our stuff. We can say, okay, and 1 equals 2, right? If we run this query, we should get no rows. There we go, no rows. And if we do this, okay, we need an and there. So, and 1 equals case when 1 equals 1. Oop. We run that SQL injection. There we go, we get an error message. So you can test these out with real queries. So we're going to have to do this to identify the type of database. Although actually I think we might be able to use the same methods as before. Because I think this will just create an error anyway. Let's just try it, screw it. Yeah, okay, so this, we can go through these, because these will all generate errors. So we know it's not MySQL. Is it MS SQL? No. Is it Postgres? No. And is it Oracle? Yes. All right. So we know it's Oracle. We know it's Oracle because the only remaining database, SQLite, does not have a length B function. Okay. So let's go back to the cheat sheet. We want to go Oracle. Okay, so we got this case. So with Oracle, if we want to practice this, view sample fiddle. Oops. Maybe just refresh. Oh dear. Well, we killed SQL fiddle. Yes. No, we didn't. All right, there we go. View sample fiddle. There we go. Okay. So let's just do a where. What's the message? Like 12. I want a query which has a where which returns 1 row. So there we go. That. I want this, please. Okay, so we probably want to do and 1 equals, and then put this in a subquery. I imagine. Did it not do that? Oh, I don't know what's going on here. There we go. Okay. 1 equals 1. Okay. So that's good. And if I change this to 1 equals 2, we should be fine. I think I need to change this to a 0. No, a 1. Alright, what I need to do is change this to a letter and change this to a letter. Alright. There we go. So, what I did there, what I wanted was a query which is going to return what we'd expect when it's false, right? And when it's the true query, we want the error message. So in this case, all I did was we're selecting all the rows from the table where there's a message like this, so there's a 12 there, and where the letter A equals, and then this subquery says, okay, select, and then the case when 1 equals 2. So when 1 equals 2, then return this 2 char, right, which is going to generate an error message. If 1 doesn't equal 2, which is obviously the case here, then it returns an A. So effectively, when this subquery here, this inference is true, it's going to generate an error, and we're going to see that 500 internal server error. When it's false, this entire thing is basically going to be equal to the letter A, and it's going to be and A equals A, right? So it's just going to be basically an and 1 equals 1. It's going to return what we expect, and everything will be fine. So let's do that in the actual real thing. How long should I invest prospecting each vulnerability? Like, what vulnerabilities are we talking about? So what we're going to do, we're just going to make sure this works. Because it worked in our practice in SQL Fiddle. Is it going to work here? So this returned 200, which is what we expect, because the case is false. When the case is true, it should return a 500. And it does. Perfect. So now we have another Boolean SQL injection, where all we care about is the 500 internal server error. When we get a 500 internal server error, we know that our inference is correct. We know that what we're looking for is correct. So again, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to look for the length of the password. So if I go back to my cheat sheet, and up here, we see that Oracle has just a length function. We'll use that. Okay. Let me do select length password from users where username equals administrator, right? And what we want to do, we actually want to put this in another set of parentheses because we want to do we should probably do greater than 0. So if it's hopefully when greater than 0 happens, we're going to have an internal server error. Good. And then let's say, is it greater than 40? Should be false. Good. Okay. We'll do greater than 20. It's not greater than 20. Remember, 200 OK means no. Okay, so is it greater than 10? It is greater than 10. Is it greater than 15? It is greater than 15. Is it greater than 17? It's going to be 20 again, isn't it? I'm just going to go straight bit equals 20. Yep. Okay, so the password is 20 characters again. Okay. Everyone following so far? Basically doing the exact same thing as before. So now we want to use the substring, and obviously in Oracle we use substra. All right, before we do that, we will we'll do stream raiders. All right, stream raiders. Alright, we've got a good army. Alright, that was easy. Well done. Christy and Carlisle Gaming. Oh, we've got a few things to collect here. I've been collecting them. Okay, cool. Alright, we'll go here. Start the battle, come on. Alright, I'm going to train up. Let's go. Okay. So again, we're going to select the substring of the password, starting at the first character, going for one character. Is it greater than A? Is it equal to A? So it's less than A. So that means it must be greater than 0, I think. Then. Yeah, okay. So there's the numbers come before the letters. But again, we don't really care about this. What we're going to do is we're going to send this to intruder. We're going to say we're going to iterate on that and this character here. We're going to use cluster bomb. Our first payload is a number from 1 to 20. It's going up by 1. It has no fractions. And our second is going to be A to Z, 0 to 9. And we are going to look for the... where is it? All we care about is 500 internal server error. Because that means true. Previously it was that welcome back message. Now it's just this. And so we'll start the attack. And actually, really all we need to do is filter by this. So if I sort by payload, payload 1, we should get, hopefully, all the answers. And again, this is the slow way of doing it. Did we get all of them? Looks like we did. Alright, what have we got here? We got 1V MR05WF9O4DH48QG, I think. Alright, now we just have to log in as the admin. And we solve the lab. Any questions about that? Because now we're going to move on to time delays. Yeah, time delays are annoying. Okay. Again, it's in the tracking cookie. So the application does not respond any differently based on whether the query returns any rows or causes an error, which means that lovely trick we did where we could concatenate stuff and find out what database it is, cannot do that now. However, all is not lost. refresh it again. Okay, so we send this to repeater. So if we send this, we see we get 11140. We put a little thing in there. We still get 11140. There's nothing we can do. Okay. Whatever we stick in here, it's always going to return 11140. So we need to inject time-based stuff. If we go back here. Do I have the sleep statement somewhere? Otherwise, I think we have to go here. Alright, time delays. So, wait for delay is really the only annoying one here. There's a funky thing you can do, though, and maybe SQL Fiddle will show it. If we go to MySQL... build schema. Oh. So if we do select A, right, you get an A. If we do select sleep 1, you don't have to capitalize it, but like to. You notice that? 1008 milliseconds. So, our previous trick with concatenation to figure out the database can actually kind of work. The same is true for Postgres. So you should be able to do select A. So we get 27 milliseconds. Obviously in Postgres you do this, and then you do PG sleep 1. And we get 1000 milliseconds. I don't... The thing is, I'm not entirely sure about Oracle right now, because as far as I'm aware... actually, we do need to do from Dual, but I think... It might be that just this doesn't work very well on this. But we'll see, actually. Yeah. We get an invalid identifier. So we'll have to figure that one out. But we can at least try it with PG Sleep and the SQL one. So what we'll do here, we'll try it with SQL first. Okay. So all I'm doing there, I'm breaking out of the string that we're in, concatenating it with a sleep 1, and then pretty much just breaking back in. So we're doing 2 concatenations. So down here you see it took 194 milliseconds, so that didn't work. Can we do PG sleep? Yes. Okay, so that had a delay of 2000 milliseconds. This obviously can go wrong, depending on how many rows of the database there are and how well indexed it is. Because effectively what you're doing here is you're checking each row of a database with this. But this is a nice way of doing it, at least. At least it proves that there is some delay. So how long did we need to get it to sleep for? 10-second delay. So I think if we just... I mean, let's just try 10 seconds. It's probably going to go for longer. If not, we'll have to figure out a different way of doing this. Well, it worked anyway. I think you can probably do a... Yeah, you can do this. So what we can probably do instead is put an and. Let's do a PG Sleep 1. Oh, I need to comment out that. There we go. Oh no, that didn't work. Hang on. Okay, so 1 equals 1, then PG Sleep. Why did that not work? Maybe I'll try and 1 equals 1 like that. We'll get Aria in a second. I'm just trying to figure out why this isn't working.
Mr. Streamer!
Let's just go to Postgres and see. I mean, it's just. I want to see what PG Sleep actually returns. Does it return anything? No. So does it can I do NPG sleep 1 equals nothing? Oh, it's a void, that's why. Can we just cast it to a string? Let's go to pillars over things. And okay, this is how we do it. Right, this is probably actually in my cheat sheet, to be honest with you, and I just didn't bother looking it up. So I think we can do this. And okay. And so in this place, let's just do 1337. Select 1337 from PG Sleep. Oops. 1. There we go. So we can indeed do this. But then we need the case thing. Oh, actually, maybe we can do this. I'm going to copy this into here. We can use the case statement. So what we want to do, and 1337 equals. Oops. And then we want to do this, I think. So when 1 equals 1, then that. Else, select 1338 from PG Sleep 0. That might work. No. I'm not entirely sure why that's not working, to be honest with you. Will it work here? Oh, syntax error, okay. Oh, hang on, did I miss the end? Oh, I'm an idiot. I didn't even copy the whole thing. For some reason, my atom was over there. There we go. Alright, I knew I'd figure it out in the end. Alright. So, the case when 1 equals... So this is kind of complicated, but... Effectively, if you select a number from PG sleep, it will return that number. I'm 34. If you... and obviously... So we want to return, this will return 1337 and it will sleep for 1 second. And then this select will then return that 1337, which then equals this, which means the entire statement remains true. If we make this false, then this will happen. It'll PG sleep for 0. We don't even really need this. We could just do select 1338 to be honest with you, but it's the same thing. And it won't sleep. So now we could, this is how we'll actually probably do the next one, assuming it's Postgres. But now we can do the exact same thing here. We could put the, select, username, length, whatever, blah, blah, blah. All right, let me go get Aria. Oh, hang on. So, hang on. Tibsec Hacker Cat. Which cat do you want? Like we've already got RJ. PG sleep is Postgres's sleep statement. The PG stands for Postgres. And the number is the number of seconds you want to sleep. Yeah. Rod admin was it? Yeah. Which cat do you actually want? You got Aria, Raven, and Tiri. Aria's already coming up, so don't ask for Aria. But by the time I get it back up here, I expect to see either Raven or Tiri. Okay, she is not a happy kitty. But there we go. There you go, my darling. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Calm down. Oh. Aria. I'm gonna baby you in a minute. Oh my goodness. Alright. She's freaking out. Alright, go. Okay. Did we decide on another cat? Get any? Well, I know the stream favorite is Raven, so I gotta go get Raven. Alright. I'll be right back. Did not find Raven. Raven is hiding somewhere, so you guys get Tiri. Who is the eldest one? Oh, baby. Alright, she's also the one. These guys see that? And it's all over me as well. I don't even have the roller up here. She just is the sheddiest cat in the world. Ah. Okay, we're good. All right. I know. I don't know. I must have brought it downstairs. Oh well. All right. So let's move on to the next lab, which is time delays and information retrieval. So very similar. We'll refresh, because I think it's the same tracking cookie thing, yeah. So go here. Right. So yeah, we see 11287, and if we put something in there, we get 11287. But we can do our same trick. Sleep 1. Right? We don't get that. Can we do PG? Oh, we need to do PG sleep 1. Looks like it worked. So it's the same thing. PG sleep. So what we'll do, we can just literally copy this thing from last time. Okay. So 1 equals 2. We should get it returned. 1 equals 1. It should sleep for 1 second. Which it does. Yay. Okay. So now we need to ask this, the question, right? So when select, and we need to double check what the length function is in Postgres. It's just length. And length password from users where username equals administrator. Let's just double check equals 0. That should obviously not sleep for 1. Okay, greater than 0 should sleep for 1 second. Good. Okay. Greater than 10. It is. Is it greater than 50? Is it going to be 20 again? God, it's going to be 20. Equals 20. Yep. Okay. So, the substring command is, I think, substring. Yeah. So we're going to do substring 1 equal to A. We'll send this to intruder. Add that one. Yeah. Cluster bomb. Yeah. Payloads. We want numbers 1 to 20 again. Going up by 1, no fractions. And the second one, we're going to go with the exact same thing it's been before. 0 to 9 and A to the lowercase. In this one, the unfortunate thing is we cannot grep based on the time it takes. We can measure the time it takes. Also, we probably want to do these one at a time. Or maybe not, actually. Let me just see something. So I'm gonna make this one sleep for 10 seconds. And while that's sleeping, I'm gonna send this one. Yeah. So here you see, when you do a sleep statement on a database, the database sleeps. So this query, I started it 1 second after I started this one, and it took 9 seconds. So unfortunately, we cannot use concurrent requests because we're going to get a ton of false positives. Because if you think, if we send the first 10 requests, right, and one of those 10 requests is a true, and it sleeps for even a second, which we're going to do, all the others are going to sleep for a second as well. And so we're going to get effectively 9 false positives. So we're going to have to do this one by one, unfortunately. But hopefully it shouldn't take too much longer. Let's just start and see. So what we need to do here, we need to go to the columns field, and we need to go response completed. Okay? And this is the time in milliseconds that it takes for the response to complete. And if I sort this, there we go. So you already see we've got 2. We got the 9th character and the 19th character. which look like they were both zeros. The 12th character is a 2. So this is also why time-based data exfiltration is annoying, because it takes way too long. SQL map will do its binary search tree and make it much faster, but even still, the fact that you cannot send multiple requests at the same time makes it really, really annoying. Alright, let's do Stream Raiders while that goes. Well, I'm glad you learned new stuff, Rodem. That is the point of this stream. And hopefully everyone, you know, can go off and try this themselves. The Portswigger Web Academy is free. You just have to create an account. You can spin up these labs, try it yourself. Use SQL Fiddle to play around with queries. Nice one. No thing wins. Even though he killed one thing, apparently. That's 3 assists. Good. Right, very hard, so I'm going to use my archer. Yeah, we'll go. Okay. So, this hasn't finished yet. But how many have we got? Looks like we've got 10. Fortunate thing is, yeah, I don't think we can search. Can't search based on the response completed. I wish we could. Might be able to do it in I was thinking Logger++ might have it. Obviously can't use it now, but I'm just going to double check, because that should be interesting. Yeah, you see here. Help. Filter fields. We want response. That's just date and time of receiving, unfortunately. That's not going to help us. There we go. Okay, so yeah, in Logger++, you can actually filter on the round trip time. So what you would do is you would filter round trip. Actually, I can probably show you now. Actually, response.rtt greater than 1,000. Yeah. Right. The only unfortunate thing is you can't actually no, we can grep values. Yeah, I mean actually that's a Q. That's a T. Yeah, so maybe not. I don't know. It might be probably not the best way of doing it, because you can't actually track which parameters, which of these payloads are going to be used. Do we have all of them yet? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. No, we don't. We're almost there, that we must be, because we're less than, actually, about 40 requests off from finishing. And then all I've got to do is go through this. So we know we have a V. That's the first one. Second one is an X. I can't unfortunately sort by these because we lose all of them. 6, 6, Z, F, 4, Y, 0, Q, Q, that's 12, 2, 13X, 14, 3, 15E, 16K, 17 is another K. I hope these duplicates aren't weird false positives. 18 is A. 19 is... and 20 is a T. I really hope that's the answer. Let's try it. Whew, okay, that was the answer. So hopefully everyone can see how annoying that is. I'm the same. You're not able to, yeah, hack the box is not for beginners. They're what's it called? Starting point labs are fine. You should try their starting point. Try Hack Me is probably the best place. They've got some great like training. What are they called? Learning paths, I think they're called. I would start there. Go through the stuff which holds your hand, the walkthroughs. When it comes to actually solving a CTF, you know, once you've done enough walkthrough stuff, you know, start out by just trying it yourself. If you do get stuck, there's no harm in just opening up a actual walkthrough up to the point where you're stuck. Read the bit that tells you what you need to do next. Do that, and then close the walkthrough and try again from there. It's probably the easiest bit. Oreo Bite, honestly, Reddit, Twitter, basically that. If people will tweet about it, so that's honestly where. And to be honest, you don't have to keep up with everything. Like I'm a web app tester. There comes a point where you got to choose what you want to do. Yeah, if you want to be a really good pen tester, you just can't do everything. I'm sure there are probably some people who are complete genius level who can. But 99% of pen testers aren't that. So you got to choose something to specialize in, which is why I know, you know, nothing pretty much about reverse engineering. I know the basics of network pen testing. I probably wouldn't be good on the red team unless we were doing the web app stuff. But give me a web app, I'll destroy it. So I mean, I've been doing web apps pretty much almost 100% of the time for the last 8 years. So. All right, I'm not sure whether we should do the out of band stuff. It's been 2 hours, and I did want to go over SQL map. The out of band stuff is a little interesting, but I do want to go over SQL map. Really, out of band things you don't detect manually. You'll use Burp Suite Scanner. SQL map can also be used, kind of, but effectively it's causing usually just a DNS lookup. So you can see with Oracle you have to submit this XML document which gets parsed and uses XXE to try and grab a website from the Burp collaborator. In Microsoft, you can do if you have to have XB Directory installed, and you can basically do like an SMB request. Postgres is even worse, and on MySQL it only works on Windows. So yeah, maybe we'll just try one. We'll just skip the out-of-band interaction. We'll do the out-of-band exfiltration. Alright, let's try this. Can't remember the last time I did this one, so no promises. So again, I think it's in here. So like nothing is going to work. So if we do that, it's not going to work. Even if we tried to like PG sleep 1, it's not going to be PG sleep, but there's no, all the sleep functions are disabled. Now, given that pretty much most of these are rubbish, I think the only one that is enabled in the labs is this one. So I think what we need to do, let's do toggle software. Alright, we need to generate a burp collaborator. So I'm going to use Taberator to create a payload. Put that in here. Yep. So I guess one thing we could try is just encode this. So that's basically a semicolon, and then try that. We need to encode that as well. Tampering with the lab cookie? I didn't. That's an interesting error. Okay, I guess we don't do that. I wonder if we can just do... Oh, maybe we need to encode that as well, and this. There we go. That worked. Okay, so I wonder if the first one would have worked if I encoded the right things. So I guess I hadn't. So obviously, when we're percent encoding, you need to encode percents, which I guess I did not do. There should be another one. Where is it? There it is. And I probably need to do dash dash dash. Let's generate another payload just to keep them separate from that one. Poll. No. Okay. So this one was it. So all we did was the same basic thing. We just did, you know, the standard and then we did a subquery where effectively what we're doing here we're giving it a string that's an XML document that contains XXE. If you don't know what XXE is, I have a video on YouTube about it. But it's a really dumb thing in XML where you can get an XML parser to make an HTTP request or a DNS lookup. So we take this string, which has basically an XML document that says, hey, go fetch this URL, which is one that I control. We convert that to XML type, and we send it to extract value. Now, extract value in Oracle takes argument XML type, instance, and an XPath expression and returns a scalar value. So effectively, you don't really need to know what that means. All it means is it's going to parse this document. That's all you really need to know. When it parses that document, it's going to hit. So we got a response from whatever this IP address is. So now if we want to extract information from this, effectively what we need to do is put a subquery within the XML document. So what we need to do is, yeah, so we're going to do 2 of those and a dot. So we're going to make it, we're going to put a subdomain on here. And so effectively all I'm doing here is this part of the payload, the XML payload, is all one string, right? From this single quote to this single quote. I'm then going to concatenate it with a subquery that's going to select information that I want. And then I'm going to concatenate that with the last part of the XML document, right? So like, for instance, I could do select, let's do, what's a good thing to do? Let's just do select one. Okay, and if I send that and refresh, now you see the host is 1, right? What do we actually need for the lab? Oh, we need the password. Okay. So basically exactly the same thing we've been doing. So all we need to do here is change this select password from users, where username equals, and then we'll probably have to put it in double quotes. I think that works. Send again. Go to tabulator request. No, okay. Do I need to backtick it? Not backtick it, escape it maybe? No. Oh, actually, no, wait, I think it should just work like that. Yeah, okay. I was messing up. Alright, there it is. There's the password. So we can now log in as an administrator. There we go, and we solved the lab. And obviously, this is all done over, I mean, you need, firstly, you need this to be DNS compliant. Luckily it is. If the data is not DNS compliant, like for instance if it has spaces in it, you will need to do something like, let's say Oracle like hex encode. Yeah, you can just do hex. So if we instead, let's just pretend this password has a space in it, right? So if we do select hex password from users, refresh this again. Okay, that didn't work. Is there not a hex thing? Raw to hex. Okay, that might be why. There you go. And now this is the exact same thing, it's just in hex. And obviously hex is DNS compliant. I once had to do... I once did do an SQL injection like this. It was actually kind of funny because it was MS SQL and XP underscore command shell was enabled. But it was a blind SQL injection. So nothing was returned. And I couldn't get a shell because I couldn't get out on any ports. They'd locked down every single port, even port 53, but DNS was still working because they allowed the server to connect to its local DNS server, right, in the network, but no other. But luckily, the burp collaborator server is configured in such a way that it controls its own DNS record. So whenever you see this domain, because this domain is randomly generated, this subdomain here, whenever a server first sees it, it will always have to go back to the collaborator server to resolve it. Right? There's no other server that knows about this on the entire internet. Right? Effectively, it's its own authoritative DNS server. Now, obviously, once you've hit this once, that DNS record gets cached all over the place, right? Because that's how DNS works. But as long as you keep changing, like, you can add subdomains, right? So you could add a random subdomain every single request, and then you can just put your encoded output as like another subdomain of that. So the way I figured it out, I was actually able to extract information from the command. I wrote a PowerShell script because PowerShell happened to be enabled on this box, which executed a command, split it into, I think it was 64 bytes, 64 hex character bytes. So basically execute the command, convert it all into hex, split it into 64 byte chunks, and then send each of those as a separate DNS request with the 64 bytes as a subdomain. And so I did that, and the first command I tried was "who am I," and I got system as the answer. So not only was XP underscore command shell enabled, but the entire MS SQL database is running as system. So yeah, if you have if you have database admin access, you can actually enable XP underscore command shell via SQL injection. It's very difficult though, and you're usually not that good. But anyway, that's the story. That was the best hack I ever did. Not just because of that. It was the report had, I think, 36 separate types of vulnerability in it, which broke the company record by 5. The company record was previously held by me with 31. So yeah, it was chaos. To be fair, it was kind of cheating because they were a bunch of ASP apps, not even ASPX. But my god, there was everything. Everything you could possibly think of was in that test, including apparently a super blind SQL injection, where, yeah, I could execute commands as system. Alright, let's go back to the start and actually try and solve these with SQL map. Alright. Alright, blind SQL injection. I think this is the first one, right? Yeah. Actually, you know what? Let's do some spins first. We haven't done spins in a while. So we are 0 Kieran still has 3. Give a give a cool pro tip. Well, I mean, I've been giving them all stream. What kind of cool pro tip do you guys want? Or Kieran, if you're still here. For beginners? In Bug Bounty, I don't really do Bug Bounty, that's the thing. I mean, I think the key to Bug Bounty is honestly these days going for deep dives, because there are people who have bots which will literally crawl every single bug program on HackerOne, BugCrowd, Integrity. They will strip out all the scopes, and they just have massive AWS clusters that do all the scanning for them with stuff like I think it's Nuclei. Like I know there are people whose AWS like bug bounty hunters who spend like over $10,000 a month in AWS because it's worth it, because their scanning, I mean, sometimes their scanning doesn't get them 10 grand worth, but sometimes it gets them 100 grand worth of bugs. But the problem is they're just scanning. They're basically doing what mass scan does, right? They're hitting as many things as possible for the low stuff. Maybe they'll find a low level XSS stuff, but they're not logging into the sites, right? And trying things. So yeah, I guess my cool pro tip for bug bounties is honestly get good at a few common bugs. XSS is really good to get good at. Access control issues, IDOR, is really good to get good at. SQL injection, yeah, is probably one to learn, but to be honest, it's not as common these days as XSS and IDOR. So look at the top 10 of web. Yeah, business logic as well. If you can get good at business logic, you'll find tons of them. Business logic is a bit annoying though, because you kind of have to adjust it every time you test a new app. So get good at a few. You don't have to get good at everything. Just get good at a few, and then find programs where there are logins that they give you, right? Or that you're allowed to create your own accounts, and go deep. Do a deep dive and just try and find stuff that's past the level that bots would crawl at. Because honestly, at this stage, you're not going to find anything that hasn't already been found by somebody else. It's not technically true, because obviously someone has to find it, right? But the point is, there's too many people just scanning everything that you have to go deep. When you would say call it quits, I mean, don't. Oh, I mean, honestly, just spend as long as you think is necessary on something. There's unfortunately no real way because it could be just a really complicated bug. But obviously there are some things that you can look for clues in some places. You know, like how I was doing it today with the SQL injection. The key thing about SQL injection, I actually have a couple of slides of this in my course that's coming up. The key thing to SQL injection is identifying a potential SQL injection and then fixing it. Right? That's the key thing, because like if you did a search for the word admin in like a users table and it returned admin, right? But then you search admin with an apostrophe and it doesn't turn anything. That could mean that there's an SQL injection that happened, or it could just mean that there's no user in the database admin followed by a single quote, which is probably also true. However, if you can repair the query and do admin single quote and then do the concatenation trick and it returns admin, you know you've got something, because that wouldn't match otherwise. All right, let's spin again. We'll do two. Actually, yeah, let's do all 4 spins. Get them over with. Oh, it happened. I mean, we're not even using Zap now. But okay, I have to go do something. So let me just put the BRB thing on. I'll be right back. Okay. I've been waiting for weeks for this. Alright, everyone love my... Look, I have a Zap shirt now. It's... What does it say? Do bad things for the right reasons. Alright. I bought this months ago. Okay, we're a Zap gang now. Alright, let's... Alright. Zero Kieran's last spin. Do you know how much I had to freaking fight back vomit? Because I had to give Zap money? Cat time! Alright, we'll do a poll. Raven, Terry. The things I do for you guys. I actually had to give the people who make Zap my hard-earned dollars. I mean, I guess I didn't have to. I just thought it'd be funny. Alright, so we got 2 more. Actually, I should have really asked Zero Kieran. I don't think he's still here, though. Okay, Twitch VIP to Rod Admin. Oh, he's not even here. Oh, no, he is. It's 0x. There we go. For some reason I was not even seen. There we go. Well done. You're now a VIP. And the last one is going to be Scopalamin07. Gets us a marble race. Look at that. Alright. So, we will... okay, we'll do the marble race. Do random. Oh, that's a long one. Ooh! Gurg Splashtastic Sea Venture. I don't think we've done that one before. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll do... Have we done this one before, or did I see it on... I might have seen it on Gar's stream. Alright, yes. Exclamation point play. Let's just see who wins the vote. Okay, Terry won. Alright, so we'll start a countdown. By the way, I've had this t-shirt literally sitting at my desk next to me for like 2 months now. Just waiting. Waiting for the time when the spinny wheel would land. Or someone would redeem it. Like, it's not redeemable now because I figured Web App Wednesday, probably not the best time to use Zap, but I mean, we're probably just going to be using Zap a little bit now. But mostly we're going to be using SQL map. That one, exclamation point play. I should probably do actually me as well. Exclamation point play. Alright. Let's see who is gonna go down. I don't know which one is faster. I feel like purple is. Maybe? Yes, we'll find out, but it's either purple or green, isn't it? Oh no, actually, yellow maybe, but the Oreo Bite's going very slow. Why are you going so slow, Oreo Bite? Yeah, everyone's overtaking you now. I'm gonna go up here. Agent OP, I think, is in first. No, I'm in first. Look at that. Rushing down. But now we're all slow. Agent OP, Simo, Leap, Urizen Lux, Kettle Bear, Rodamin. Agent OP gets ahead. Oreo Bite back in the race. Agent OP currently, and Christy out of nowhere, just apparently just... Why isn't Christy... Oh, that's not Christy, that's Christy. That we have played this map. That's Christy's ghost. Oh, did I win? I won. Yay. Okay, that was the end. Well, yeah, Rod, I mean, you're last here. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh no, Coding Spectre. Going around the back. Why? I don't know. You got 57 seconds. Here we go. Oh. And you're going backwards. You can still do this, Coding Spectre. You've got 36 seconds. Oh, yeah, you got in the jet stream. Nice. There we go. And... there we go. A full 56 seconds after the previous person. Right. Alright. Nice. Oh, we got Stream Raiders as well. I'm going to close Burp because we're no longer Burp Gang, we're Zap Gang right now. Alright, let's do Stream Raiders very quickly. We don't have many people on the field. You guys are slacking. I'm going to open up Zap. Do I even have Zap installed? I must have Zap installed. I don't think I even have Zap installed. Yeah, okay, it's installing. Well, we lost. Okay, start the battle. Right. You shouldn't love Zap. Zap is awful. The interface of Zap makes 0 sense. And the tools are just really, really bad. I don't want to persist. Oh, wait a minute, I shouldn't say that. No, Zap's amazing. We don't really want to update anything. All I'm really using Zap is a proxy. Because we're going to proxy everything to burp. Burp? No. We're going to proxy everything to SQL map. Yeah. Okay, so we want to go back here. Is this still live? Hopefully it is. Yeah, okay. Good. So, yeah, here we go. Let's go here. And all I need I need to stay on that tab. Okay. Sorry, I need to refresh this. So we get the cookie. Okay, I guess it actually did time out. We need to launch it again. Okay. Go back here. We'll refresh. Go back into Zap. Scroll down. I think this should be... Yeah, this should be the cookie. Okay, so now if we go to... Resend in the request, as we should have a cookie here. Yeah. Tracking ID. Okay, so all we're going to do is we're going to copy this. We're going to SQLi, I guess. CD SQLi. What's they do to make it better? I don't really know. I mean, I just think all this is just, it's kind of nonsensical. It's just, you know, you don't need all these buttons up here. Like this is all just what? To change the request response. There's like a whole button thing for that. Just, and it's, the real problem I had was we tried fuzzing once, and fuzzing just is a nightmare. If you want to just, like, if you want to rerun your fuzz with different things, you have to go through the entire process again. It just doesn't really make any sense. Like, they don't need to copy burp, but they at least need to match the functionality of some of the stuff. And they really just don't. And honestly, you don't really need this quick start thing. I just, you know. I mean, Zap with it, Burp with its tabs, I understand tabs that can get annoying, but you really do get used to them, and having everything on its own tab means you can just jump to it so quickly. So I prefer the tabs, honestly. Alright, we're going to go here. We're just going to call this 1.htdp. I'm going to paste that in there. So, what we're going to do here is... Actually, we should just be able to use the tracking ID. So, SQL map -r 1.htdp. Let's see if... Let me just see if it'll actually grab the cookie. No. Alright. So, I think at level... I forget which level grabs cookies. Let's actually have a look at the SQL map. Help notation. GitHub. The wiki has a lovely usage page. which has level. When level is greater than equal to 2, it also tests HTTP cookie values. So we can set level equal to 2. Let's see if it detects anything. So I usually set V to 3. What V3 does is it will print out every single payload that it's trying, which is just kind of useful to see, I guess. It's obviously very verbose, but it does help. So I think that's honestly all we need. I guess we could put threads on, because we know this is just a regular blind. So we're not giving it any more information about that. Do you want to URL encode cookie values? I mean, yeah, sure, why not? So you see how it's just trying different things? And there we go, it's immediately found it. Cookie parameter appears to be and Boolean blind. So what was the thing it found? It was this payload, right? This payload returned the different. So this payload obviously found the it didn't return the welcome message, and then it knew that there were 2 different values, so it sent the same thing with the same values, right? 6382, 6382, and it got that welcome message. And then it sent it again, and it changed the values, but kept them identical. Oh no, it checked again for false positive, so it changed the values again. So that's how it confirms it, right? And it found out the database could be Postgres. Do you want to skip testing payload specific for other DBs? Yep. Do you want to include all tests? No. So it looks like there may be a sleep statement as well. This one may have been vulnerable to sleep. So I think it's finding a sleep, a time-based blind as well, which we didn't find before because we weren't looking for it. So now basically it's just trying to find. So we don't want to do that. So it's trying to find union injections. It's already found the blind stuff, but obviously if it found a union is much easier to extract information from. Cookie tracking ID is vulnerable. Do you want to test any others? No. Okay. So actually interestingly, it found stacked queries with a sleep statement as well. But Boolean-based blind is easier. So I think it's going to use that. So now if we want information, if you do -hh, you'll get a massive list of everything. So let's see what current DB we're in, yeah? And I think what it's going to do, it should use the Boolean blind. Yeah, so you can tell from the initial payload it's going to use the Boolean blind because this is the payload it's sending and it's not got a sleep statement in it. So you can see how quick that was, right? So if you look up at this, really all this is doing is the same thing we did with substring. It's just doing a lot more. So it's making sure it's casting it to make sure it's a string. And then it's checking the substring. So it's... yeah, substring 1, I think. It's checking whether it's greater than 64. And... I think it checks... oh, sorry, wait a minute. Where's the length? It figured out the length as well at some point. Yeah, here. Length. So it figured out the length, which was 6. Okay. And And then what it's doing here, because it's starting 6 threads, so this is why it looks a bit confusing. But this is the first. It's checking whether the first character is greater than 64, the second, the fifth, the third, the sixth, and the fourth, right? And based on the answer to this, it's gonna do other queries. So in this one, it's checking whether the first character is greater than 96. So clearly, when it sent this request here, this came back true. Right, the first character is greater than 64. Now it's trying if it's greater than 96. If we scroll down even more, we see it was greater than 96 because this one is greater than 112. It's asking, is it greater than 112? So it's doing a binary search. It's basically just trying to have the amount of search space each time. And eventually it'll get to this one. So, in fact, this greater than 112 for the first character came back false. So it's saying, okay, is it greater than 104 then? And if we scroll down even more, we see this one. So it was greater than 104 because now it searches is it greater than 108. It looks like it was greater than 108 because it asks, is it greater than 110? And then so it was greater than 110. It asks, is it greater than 111? And it looks like it wasn't. So it might have been 110 then. So this one might have been false, and it only had one more thing to check, which is it greater than 111. If that's false, then it's probably 110. So yeah, that's what it did, and it retrieved that the database name is public. So now that we know the database name, we can do $D public, and we can enumerate tables. Is there another tool alternative to the same quality as SQL map? Not that I know of. So this is now trying to find the tables in this database public. It's found 2, tracking and users, and you see how quick this is, right? Now we care about users, so again, we're going to do $T users. Let's get the columns. This is why you don't do blind SQL injection manually. You see how complicated these queries are, but they're very good queries. They work exceedingly well. So it's found 2 columns, password and username. Now we don't care about the username because we know what the username is. If we do $C for password, and then there should be a where. Yeah, where. Use where condition. So I think what we can do is we can do --where username equals. Actually, I probably should do. Administrate. I think this should work. We do actually need to tell it what to enumerate, and we want to now dump. So dump is basically get the data. Looks like it's extracting stuff. That's good. There we go. Found the password. How long did that take? Not long at all, right? Okay, let's do the next one. So it was conditional errors. And go here. So it should set the cookie, and then we'll just refresh. So now in Zap, we should have a request with cookie set. Yep, there it is. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll do 2.http. And then we'll just scroll up until we get back to that. Oh, and I need to do 2.http. So now it's just... So you see it's triggering internal server errors, so it should figure out that it can deduce based on these internal server errors. There you go. So cookie parameter tracking ID appears to be Oracle and Boolean based blind. So we want to skip payloads. We don't want to do any more levels. So it's just confirming it. We don't want to try unions. That's all fine. Don't want to test any others? Okay, we're good. We have this one Boolean based blind. Okay, so now what we can do the same thing. Current DB. We will encode cookie values, sure. Retrieve system. So D system. Tables. Possibly, yeah. I don't know about that. The nice thing about SQL Map is once you've scanned a specific URL, or in this case that file, that request, it stores it in an internal database. And so you notice how I don't have to keep telling it. It doesn't have to keep finding where the SQL injection is. It remembers where it is. So this probably has a lot of tables. Actually, we can tell. If we scrolled up, we'd see where it enumerated the number of tables. Also, if I was to cancel right here and rerun it, it would remember all the data it's currently extracted. So it wouldn't just start from scratch again. Looks like it's extracted 2 tables so far. It's trying to find 27 characters or something. All right, yeah. So let's just skip this. This is going for a lot of tables. I wonder if there's a count. Let's just do count. Is it actually doing a count? No, okay, it's not. Yeah, so it's probably doing all the system tables as well. All right, well we do know the table name. which was users. So let's grab the columns. And actually, let me take v3 off, and we'll just do v2. So it's extracted. Number 2 there means I extracted 2 columns. First column has 8 characters. Second column has 8 characters. I should probably turn it to v1 actually. Yeah. So there you go. Password and username. Turn it to v1. So again, we only care about the password field. So we want to do where username equals administrator. Oh, we need to do a dump. So with v1, it does, I think, yeah, this fun thing, right? So actually, the retrieve, it said, okay, the password 20 characters, and then it does this. You kind of see the data coming out. So there we go, we get the password. So now we want to log in. There we go. Solve lab. Okay, moving on to time delays and information retrieval. We don't want to do this one. We don't care about that. Okay, so again, we'll go here. So this is where it's going to be annoying because of the time delays, because we can't do multi-threading. But it's still going to be quicker than how we did it before. Maybe we can just go here, right? Yeah. Will not copy. I guess I did not copy. Copy. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go back to there. We're only going to do v1. But everything else should be fine. And I need to change this to 3 LHCP. Yes, we want to encode the cookie. Okay. So with v1, it'll just tell you what types it's testing. So each of these is a set of different injections. So you see it's going through the booleans first. Now it's doing error-based. Still doing error-based. Inline queries, stacked queries. It's going to get to time-based blinds. So the reason it does it in this order, really, obviously Boolean-based blinds are easy to detect. Error-based as well, stacked. So it tests those first. There we go. It's stacked queries injectable. Yes, we do, because I want to actually find the time-based one. Thank you. Is Tmax a must or optional? I mean, for me, it's a must. It's just so much more useful. I do wonder if it's stacked based is also time based. It's possible it is. We'll see what happens. Yeah, see, it found this, it was stacked, and also it found this thing, right? So it is a stacked query, but it's still using PG sleep, right? Okay, so now what we can do is we can do the same thing again. Current DB. So here, multi-threading is considered unsafe in time-based data retrieval. Are you sure of your choice? Breaking warranty. I'm going to say no. So what it's doing now is it's changed it to one thread. Now the time-based comparison, what this does is it's going to send different sleeps and obviously queries without sleeps to see roughly the average time it takes for a query to respond with no sleeping. Because if a query takes 2 seconds to respond, right, with when there's no sleep, then when you do a sleep 2, you know, you can't really tell the difference sometimes. Because maybe a query will return 2 seconds every, like, 10 queries. Or maybe a response will take 2 seconds every 10 queries. So what it's doing now is it's optimizing that. So it looks like it's extracting information as well. It's probably public. So again, all it's doing is the same kind of thing. It's just asking those, hey, how long was it, right? And once it got, you know, if it's 10 characters long, sleep for however many seconds, 2 seconds it looks like it's using. And it found out that it was obviously 6 characters long, and then it figured out that it was public. Alright. So what if we do tables? Maybe, yeah. So I wonder how many of these will do. So again, it's still going to rebuild the time-based comparison just because it does it every single time. You can override that with the timesec option. So we do want to do this. So I wonder how many tables there are. I don't know if that is just 2 tables. Maybe? We'll see if it starts returning system tables. But you can already see, right, how slow time-based blinds are compared to Boolean. Hopefully. Alright, so I'm going to cancel because we know the tables are tracking in users, right? I feel like we're just wasting time there. So we're going to do users table. We'll work out the columns, though. Even though we know the columns are username and password, but we'll do it. And in fact, let's skip this. We can do -- time sec equals 2. That should be fine. So effectively, all I've told it is when you do a positive sleep, wait for 2 seconds. All right, we'll do Stream Raiders. Probably be the last Stream Raiders. I'm doing pretty well, I think. Nice. Well done, No Thing and Escaprom. Alright. See how slow this is? It's worked out. It's worked out 7 oh no, there we go, 8 characters of the first field. Now, so it'll also has to work out the type of the field. Right, which is like a varchar. But even still, it's very slow. So again, we're going to cancel it. Obviously in a test you can't cancel it, but we already know what column we want to deal with. It's the password column. And we can give it our where username equals administrator and done. And now this should at least, I mean, it's going to take a while, but it should at least extract the information we need. Sure. I guess we'll do that. I believe you can, there was a thing I heard about, actually. Google Cloud, password, tracker, GitHub. I wonder if it's this. I don't think it is that. There was somebody built. It was a tool that you just deployed in Google Cloud. And then you could just give it passwords, password hashes. I forget what it was. Now I'm kind of annoyed because it was a really good, like a really good tool. Let me actually. Let me just go over here. Well, I did talk about it at work once. Search the conversation. Okay, so there we go. MPK is a distributed hash cracking platform built entirely of serverless components. Oh, it's AWS. Sorry, that's why it wasn't Google. So, pretty much what you can do. Yeah. It's pretty cool actually. You can like customize a lot of it with this lovely graphical interface. It even estimates how much it's going to cost, which is awesome, right? So yeah. Well, this looks pretty good. Alright, how are we doing on the cracking? Hey, we've almost found the entire password. Look at that. Okay, we found the password. Hooray! So we can just copy that. Plug in. And that's that done. Are there any questions at the end of all of that? If not, we will find somebody to raid. Taggets online. But yeah. Thank you so much for joining me on Web App Wednesday. Thank you so much for White Oak Security for sponsoring this stream. Again, if you are interested in potentially a job, join the Discord server and just ping me there, and I'll give you some information. What commands, Night Warrior? You mean this one? Hopefully that's the one you meant. Cool. Alright, yeah. You can always rewatch the VOD as well. Alright, I am going to put the stream ending thing up. I'm also going to start the raid. Okay. Alright, there are my socials on the screen. Please follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord server. Subscribe to my YouTube channel where I upload videos, slightly edited videos of these. And then obviously, if you're not following me on Twitch already, why aren't you following me on Twitch? Please follow me on Twitch. Alright, thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a great rest of the week. I will see you on Friday for Frustration Friday. And we will raid MT Taggart.